You're listening to Inside the Locker Room with Wimp and Barry Sanderson on Tide 100.9 in Tuscaloosa.
In the high 56. I'm James Spann on the ABC 3340 Weather Center on Tide 100.9. It's 25 degrees in Tuscaloosa.
Inside the Locker Room with former Crimson Tide basketball coach Wimp Sanderson and his son, former SEC and ACC assistant basketball coach Barry Sanderson. It's time to take you inside the locker room on your home for Alabama sports. Tide 100.9 and streaming on the Tide 100.9 app.
And good morning. Welcome into a cold Friday edition of Inside the Locker. My car was registering 23 this morning when I drove in, so get your little heavy coat on this morning, even some gloves if you need. Chase, you got gloves? You wear gloves in the morning?
No, I made that mistake.
You got shorts on?
No, I got some good joggers on.
I mean, you're only walking from the parking lot to the building, so it's not really that bad. 205-342-9904 is the phone number if you'd like to get in on the show with us this morning. X accounts at Locker Room 109, at Barry Sanderson, at Wimp Sanderson 1. The email for the show, wimpandbarry@yahoo.com. You can send that. We can read that over the air. If you download the Tide 100.9 app, Chase and I were just talking about the app messages. I only get the ones for our show, so I think you can select which show to send it to. Sometimes I get them from other shows thinking they're sending it to their show, but they click our show. So whatever, just send us an app message. We'll be happy to read that right over the air. Pressure-treated pine from Great Southern, guys. If you want to build a 5-star backyard, a fence, a deck, a pergola, then pressure-treated pine from Great Southern Wood is the only choice. Go to yellowwood.com to find the dealer closest to you. And always remember, if it doesn't have that yellow tag on it, you don't want it. Chuck Norwood sponsors the Blue Plate Special. It was released out yesterday. Dad says take Oregon. Was that line 3 or 3.5? I don't remember. Anyway, take Oregon. Minus the points. That game's in Indianapolis. Is that an indoor? Indoor, so the temperature won't matter how cold it is. So it's always cold out in Indy. And then we used to go to that Final Four. Man, that place is cold, but they're going to be playing indoors, so they'll be fine. Good morning, guys. How are y'all this morning?
We're doing okay, I guess. Christy Curry, who we need to have on our show, they lost their first ladies game last night. We haven't talked about how good they've been doing. They've been 9-0, and Christy's a nice lady and did a nice job. Bill Battle hired her, but I need to get her on our show sometime. You're recruiting. If I told you, it's going to change as years go by. But Texas ended up 1, Alabama 2. At least on the ones that I've seen. Oregon is 3, Georgia is 4, and Ohio State is 5. Michigan is 6, and I'll stop there. Auburn is 7. I won't go down the whole list. Last night, the Packers lost to Detroit 34-31. Justin Thomas in golf is 6 under, playing pretty well out the Hero Classic out there. Scotty Scheffler is playing. I think he's the leader. He's got a new putting grip. Got to watch how they're going to be good if he's got a new putting grip. Penn State beat Purdue, a team that had beaten Alabama in basketball last night. Only a really big score I saw. Auburn plays Richmond at 11 o'clock on Sunday. They're going to honor Sonny. I hope it's worked out where I could go. Alabama, I think, has the time off, and they don't play until the 14th, I believe. They play Creighton at 7 o'clock, 7:30. So now a little bit closer on what's going to happen tonight and tomorrow. UNLV and Boise State will play at 7 o'clock tonight on Fox. Tulane and Army will play at 7 o'clock tonight on ABC. One's for the Mountain West, one's for the American Athletic. And then tomorrow, the big game for people around here is Clemson and SMU. I think that game's on ABC at 7. And it should be interesting there if that has any effect on Alabama or not. Georgia and Texas, the only effect that's going to have is that Bevo, the big guy, 1,000 1,700 pounds, is not going to be the mascot for the game because he tore up the fence or something in Texas. But Uga, who I really like dogs, Uga will be there, so Uga will have an advantage there, not only the home field, but to have the home mascot. So that's a big deal. I've already mentioned recruiting success. Blue Plate Barry mentioned. I'll tell you something, boys. Me and Phil Knight and Dan Lanning get along real well. And when you get along with Phil Knight and you're the Nike guy and you want Oregon to win a national championship, you will spend the cotton-picking money to be ready that you steal players from other teams. So pretty interesting to me. Something else the last thing. The college football selection committee has been criticized. They're even talking about now going to a computer and having the computer decide who's going to be who, where, and so forth. So that's all. I'm through.
All right. Guys, when I look at this percentage now, even if SMU loses, I think it was 73%. I saw yesterday that Alabama still makes the playoff. Did the Miami loss, if Miami would have won at Syracuse, Miami pretty much had the best year of everybody. Maybe SMU, but those two guys were playing in the ACC championship game, and they were around like 7 and 8. Would both of them have gotten in? We don't know that. So I think SMU's being punished because Miami lost, and so now they're not playing a team as high ranked. I think Clemson's 17. I would have a problem with that if I were SMU. I get all the way to the championship game. I'm ranked 8. I'm in the championship. Had I not made the championship and I was ranked 8, I wouldn't move. I would still be in the playoff. I think they have a gripe there. I know.
I think they do too. I think the Miami thing is one of the problems they've had is that they've had leads in every game and then come back and lost. And there's a little bit of a downer on them coaching wise. There's a downer on them on Miami too, with attendance and interest. They're thinking Alabama and Notre Dame would be a great draw and make college football better. So we do have and we got all those administrators on there too, and so they're all looking at money. So I think we got problems.
Yeah, people say, well, Alabama will be favored against these teams. I mean, that's just who's betting the most money. Like, I hope we don't pick playoffs based on who's going to be favored. That's not, why you even play the season? Let's just figure out who's going to be favored in certain games and just give it to them. We see a lot of, I think Alabama was favored at Oklahoma, weren't they? And they didn't take care of business there. They were favored at Vanderbilt. I think people are being a little bit too disrespectful to the ACC. I hear everybody say, well, Vanderbilt would be 9-3. Georgia Tech's pretty darn good now. Miami, they did go to Florida and just absolutely boat race Florida. And Georgia Tech at Georgia gave them everything that they wanted. Louisville went to Kentucky and just boat race them. So I think we're a little bit too disrespectful to the ACC.
We're prejudiced.
Do you agree?
Oh yeah, I think you have people that are big time prejudiced because they're SEC people all the way, and they look down and nose the ACC. They think it's the basketball league. I do want to mention that tomorrow, Penn State, Oregon, and Clemson, South Carolina, Clemson, SMU play at the same time. So if you got two television sets, Penn State and Oregon is Blue Plate, and that's a 7:00 game on CBS, and the other one's on ABC at 7:00. So there.
Which game are you looking the most forward to watching tomorrow?
I'll flip it. I don't probably. I don't really have one, Barry. I probably Clemson, SMU.
Yeah, I would say that just because that game.
Yeah.
Would affect the.
I would hate to see Georgia and Texas play this game for the second time, and then be open up or play in the tournament for a third time. I think you could do a little better than that, unless Texas won is a split, and then you have to see who wins the split. But same time now, so you better be ready for them. First game's at 11, Iowa State, and the second one's at 3, Georgia, Texas. Then the other two are at 7 o'clock doing the same time.
Do we penalize ACC teams more than Big Ten? The Big Ten from top to bottom, it ain't no good. But we're talking about Indiana. There's no doubt they're in the playoff. Now we're talking about SMU. If they lose, they're out. And Indiana didn't make their championship game, so we're holding SMU to a higher standard than Indiana, who really beat nobody either. They just got Oregon in there and Ohio State, which dropped that game to Michigan. Do we hold the ACC and the Big Ten to different standards there, I guess, with SMU and like Indiana?
Well, we put the Big Ten in the same category with the SEC. Everybody else is not near as good. Those two, every time you see something like today about computers, the SEC and the Big Ten have talked, and they think maybe they need to go to computer. You're dead right on the Big Ten not being, Big Ten means they say means a lot, but they're not from top to bottom. They're not that great.
We got a message me saying Miami lost to Virginia Tech and the officials cheated. There was a controversial call there at the end.
That's terrible. I didn't know that.
There was. But I don't think you can hold that against Miami. Maybe you can. Their defense gave up a lot of points, though. So anyway, all right, we'll take this first break.
They cheated for who?
They cheated for Miami to win. They made a bad call. If somebody remembers what happened there at the end.
They had Miami to win?
Yes.
Oh,
they should have lost.
The who? Virginia Tech?
Virginia Tech, the Hokies. Wow. How about Bill Belichick interviewing for North Carolina?
Yeah,
Is that smoke?
I think he calls them, Barry, and there's something to write, something to talk about. Great coach. He ain't going. I don't think he's going to North Carolina.
Would that be a good hire?
Oh, if he's willing to get out and recruit. These guys that exit and owe it and are really good, that exit and owe it, and smart guys. Players win games. Coaches help to win games. Players win the games.
Yeah. All right, 2-minute truck. They out at 1330 Martin Road East. As you prepare for this move, you go out there, get the boxes, the packing supplies, whatever you need to prepare for the move. They'll send the movers out. They'll take all the stress away. They'll take great care of you. They'll wrap your stuff up. They'll get the blankets on it. They'll pack it properly in the truck, whether it's a local move, out of town, out of state, or you just need stuff moved around the house. These guys are ready, willing, and will take great care of you. Give them a call today. It's 205-247-5050. That is 2 minute truck movers who care.
Here's what's trending on the Tuscaloosa thread.
Good Friday morning. Tuscaloosa City Schools scored an 84 on the state school report card. That's a passing grade. But 3 schools, Eastwood Middle, Oakdale Elementary, and Central High School, are still struggling to achieve. Tuscaloosa City School Superintendent Dr. Mike Daria says they have a plan to move forward. A recent property tax increase to fund city schools barely failed in a low voter turnout. Click TuscaloosaThread.com for more local news, sports, and weather. It's free all throughout the day. Don Hartley, Town Square Media, Tuscaloosa.
Tide 100.9 traffic.
Tuscaloosa traffic now from the Townsend Nissan Traffic Center. Don't have any accidents or incidents this morning. Things seem to be moving pretty good. We've got some long-term road construction, 15th Street southbound at 2nd Avenue. Also, we have a bit of a slowdown, McFarland Boulevard.
At the cigarettes, but she just grabs the gum off the counter. Stand Up to Cancer and Rally want you to reduce your risk for cancer. Go to takeahealthystand.org.
Road tripping, business travel, or bringing your car in for repairs. All great reasons to rent a Toyota at Tuscaloosa Toyota. You can rent the latest Toyota models for a day, a week, or a weekend. Every Toyota rental car comes with 24 hours roadside assistance.
By going to HIMS.com. So what are you waiting for?
To start your free online visit and find ED treatment at up to 95% off brand name prices, go to hims.com/joy.
Tide 100.9 Tuscaloosa weather.
The weather cold and dry today. The sky sunny, the high 43. Another freeze tonight, clear with the low at 25. Tomorrow, partly to mostly sunny, the high 52. Clouds move in Sunday, a chance of rain by afternoon, the high 50. 56. I'm James Spann on the ABC 3340 Weather Center on Tide 100.9. It's 25 degrees in Tuscaloosa.
Alabama fans are all over the world, and we are too. Download the Tide 100.9 app right now in the App Store and Google Play, and take the Crimson Tide everywhere you go.
Christmas music than that. Grandma got run over by a reindeer or something. That's not Sonny's music. All right, Yellowwood pressure treated pine from Great Southern. If it doesn't have the yellow tag on it, you don't want. All right, get to the Yellowwood hotline. Get Tom in. Good morning, Tom.
Hey Tom.
Morning, Barry. Morning, Coach.
Oh,
how are
Tom,
y'all?
you're clear today. You're not in a wind tunnel.
I know. I'm not working. And I'm gonna quit calling y'all while I'm at work. I have to come up with a different strategy. But sometimes I just can't wait. I have to call right then.
We get you all worked up sometimes. So.
Well, it's fun, isn't it? It's all fun.
No, I don't want you to stop calling. I just said you were clear today.
I like adrenaline.
Yeah. You got your Bama glasses. You got your Bama glasses on today.
24/7.
I don't know about that. Sometimes you kind of fluctuate though. You get mad when they don't play good.
Well, that's my job, though. I'm supposed to do that. And Coach Saban, he made the rule. He made the rule. Expect to get criticized when you don't perform well. So I'm just going by the rule.
There you go. All right, what you got this morning?
Well, did TA win last night? I can't find a freaking
Well, the reason you can't find his score because they play today at 3.
Oh, I thought they played yesterday.
No.
My bad. Sorry.
And that's actually, I was watching that.
Mars Hill from Florence won. That won
watching,
the championship.
Yeah,
they sure did. I tell you what, they win every blame year.
I was watching Moody and Montgomery Catholic last night. That was a good game. So, yeah.
I was tempted to go and watch TA, but it's just too cold for me. I can't take it.
It's on TV, so.
I hadn't gone to the trouble to find it, but I was hoping Coach Wright and them would do well. I really, I know that family. They're from over in this part of the country, and I'm always pulling for them. And his dad was a friend of mine. I was going to say Wednesday night, I come in, I watch the game. I'm anxious to see Alabama play North Carolina, but Alabama is frustrating to me. We win, and I'm glad. We got good players, and I'm glad of that. But it's frustrating for me to watch them. And those blamed ignorant turnovers that they have. Grant Nelson, I love him to death, but God knows, Barry, he can make a turnover. And every time he does, it's a momentum killer. Every time he turns it over. And some of them are just, it's like Coach has said 1,000,000 times. Quit throwing it to who you think is open. Throw it to somebody that is open. And he's the world's worst at breaking that rule.
Yeah, I thought they played pretty darn good, though, against North Carolina. I found hard
well, North Carolina ain't very good.
No, they're not.
Y'all say that, but any team's going to go to North Carolina and win. That's pretty darn good to win. To go there and beat them by that margin.
Well, when the other team shoots 5 for 28,
well, give their defense some credit. Give their defense some credit.
I give them credit. I think going on the road and winning is a big deal. You're darn right. It's hard to do, but North Carolina is not the North Carolina team of the past. Alabama did a good job.
Dean Smith.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know how many teams are going to go in there and beat them by 15 or whatever they beat them.
Not many.
Well, it'll be a bunch of them this year.
I don't see that.
But they're 4-4 already.
Yeah, but they lost. How did they lose in Maui?
I didn't know that, but there you go. Alabama ain't the only one that beat them. Coach, I was going to say this too. So I watched that game and take a tranquilizer, and then I watched Auburn and Duke, and that Flag kid, my God Almighty, what a player!
Yeah, he's a good player. He's not a flashy player particularly, but he's real smart way he plays. And
That's what
always shot the ball very well in that first to start that game and played pretty good defensively. It's just hard to beat Duke there.
Chad Baker Mazzara, he's a good player, but he's going to cost them at the worst time. Bruce Pearl's going to have to get that under control the way he acts.
You do a game. I got to do a couple of games on radio or television, radio, I guess, and they put me up because it was North Carolina versus Duke, and it wasn't even so everybody. And I sat next to Dick Vitale, and Vitale did the game with one eye. With one eye on TV. He did on TV. I did on radio. And it's the most interesting thing when you see North Carolina play Duke. They go crazy about that game. But where they put the people where they put the people that did the game, it was quite unusual.
Well, Coach, I say this too: that the crowd at the Dean Dome, they were very loud and they know basketball. My hat's off to them. They're very intelligent about basketball.
Yeah,
and
that's a big place.
They're used to winning.
Is it? I couldn't tell.
It's big. It's probably
17,000
at least. Probably bigger than that. It's a big.
Yeah, I did a couple of games there. They don't give the media very good stuff to eat at the halftime or before the game.
How about Alabama now? They don't even in Alabama basketball. They don't even feed the media anymore. You get a bottle of water or soda. That's it.
Oh, are you kidding me? They don't feed the media?
No.
Well, I mean, there's plenty of places to eat in Tuscaloosa before you get there. My God,
but they used to. In the past, they gave you a card that you could go to the concession stand and get like one entree and a drink and maybe a peanut or something. But they even took that away. So
we're giving them money to the players. We're not.
They need that money.
They don't need to feed the media.
No.
Okay. They feed them at football.
I'll tell you one thing. There's a couple of them when I was coaching. I'd like to have fed, but it wouldn't have been food.
I don't know. I just don't think you.
It wouldn't have been. It wouldn't have been food when I was coaching.
Not feeding the media at the basketball games. Weak. That's weak. That's weak.
Yeah, I mean, for the media
you think Kentucky's feeding the media?
No, they sure aren't.
I guarantee they are.
Let me ask you this: if you're a media person and you're covering, say, football or basketball at Alabama, okay?
Mm-hmm.
Does the people you work for have to purchase the ticket? Do you have to buy a ticket to get in?
No, they have a media row, over there in basketball. It's over there across from Alabama's.
But they don't have to pay.
No, they're just you go in and fill out for credentials.
So they figure they're going to let you in if you're a media person and you're going to get in free and you're going to get favorable attention.
Well, you're also going to work and write an article about the game or talk about it, or
that's
right.
I mean, you're also promoting their product.
Yeah.
That's my point.
You're also
that's the reason
critiquing the game. A couple of them critique it real well.
You can critique it from the TV as well. I guess
they
at home.
They can critique it. They can tell you why you lost.
Yeah.
Well, there's a lot of things that go on that if you're there
we used to have one that critiqued
basketball. I like
our
to
show.
see how the coach. Sir.
We used to have one that critiqued me all the time. It's on our show every Tuesday.
Well, don't say anything about him, Coach. You'll be in the doghouse. And
don't know why you
dare. Don't you dare mention Alabama's record without saying how bad Oklahoma.
Say you people there wasn't even born.
No, I'm saying I don't know why you people don't like Kevin. I think Kevin is excellent. And he's not an Auburn fan. That is so silly.
Know his history.
Yes, I do.
You have not read the history.
Yes, I do.
You couldn't have. You were in South Carolina and Maryland and all over the world while we were reading his article.
I like Kevin. So.
And I'll tell you something else, Coach. Don't you dare forget to tell everybody in God's green earth how much Oklahoma beat Alabama 3 weeks ago. Don't forget that.
Facts are facts.
Love y'all. Take care.
Thank you. All right, let's get back up to the Yellowwood Hotline. Get Larry in. Hey, Larry.
Hey, Larry.
Hey, guys. Good morning.
Morning.
I did try to call last Friday from Graceland. We were on a tight schedule and y'all were pretty busy, but I was told it probably technically wouldn't have worked for me to talk with Coach Sonny Smith. That lines.
Yeah. I don't think we can.
Yeah, I'm not sure. Can we? I don't know. Yeah, try to call, but I may have been. I don't know what's for. It depends on who's on the phone lines and how much. I'm in the studio,
listen, I don't want to. That's his segment. I just tell him I'm a big Vern Goss, and I got a segment I'm going to do on Gary's show. I didn't get to do anything this week because it was off the air. And as y'all know,
we're better off listening to Vern than we are Sunday. We don't need to hear it.
Well, there you go. He started something here, but I wanted to tell you, man, that trip, we crammed it in 2 days, and the Graceland thing is just beyond the mind what they've done across from the mansion. What's there, it's just warehouses full of stuff, cars, all his Vegas, about anything Elvis. It's just like a little small city, restaurants, bars, whatever.
You know, they got him at Alabama. Charlie Thornton was the SID back then. You wasn't even born either, and he got Elvis to come in and play something. Elvis.
Wow.
He came to one of our deals, and I went down to the practice gym while he shot baskets, and he was kind of bloated then and a little bit heavy, but he was around. He was close to Iuka, Mississippi, I think. Go ahead. Sorry.
Well, it was really something. Of course, we went to Sun Studio. That was a highlight for me. They've really done I've got a good segment next week if you tune in about what happened, how Elvis hit that. It wasn't, I'm not going to give it away, but there's a big story with that. Then we went to Stax Records, Soulsville, USA, and like I said, we saw a lot in a very few days, but I wanted to let you know I did try to call.
Yeah.
I wasn't, whether I talked with Coach Smith or not, I was going to check in because Gary, I couldn't get into him. We had to leave at 9 o'clock. The tour, we spent 5 hours, man, walking. So it's like, but I wanted to pass that on, and I hope Alabama gets in. Answer this for me. Am I correct? If we do get in, would we play Notre Dame first?
If it stays where the rankings are now, stays like it is now. Yeah. So,
what's your feeling on
it? I think they'll get in. I think Alabama will get in. I think SMU, if they win, they're obviously in. If they lose, I think they're going to put them out. And the ACC commissioner's going to be screaming again. So,
oh, boy.
Yeah.
Florida State all over again.
There you go. Thank you, Larry.
All right, brother. Y'all have a great weekend, and I'll be talking to you soon.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Larry.
All right, we'll take the break here. We get back. I want to talk a little Alabama quarterbacks with you, specifically Ty Simpson, as it relates to next year.
He needs to be gone.
Get y'all's opinion on what you've seen from Ty Simpson. You listen to Tide 100.9 SC home of Alabama Sports.
Tide 100.9 traffic.
Tuscaloosa traffic now from the Tanson Nissan Traffic Center. Don't have any accidents or incidents this morning. Things seem to be moving pretty good. We've got some long-term road construction, 15th Street southbound at 2nd Avenue. Also, we have a bit of a slowdown.
9 will award $500 for the best Christmas light display in West Alabama. To enter, upload your photos to Tide109.com. Merry Christmas from your friends at Taco Casa and Tide 100.9.
Mr. SEC Tournament Wimp Sanderson gives you his excellent analysis every weekday on Inside the Locker Room, right here on Tide 100.9.
pressure-treated pine from Great Southern Wood. If it doesn't have the yellow tag on it, you don't want it. When you build the 5-star backyard, you want to use Yellowwood. Go to yellowwood.com to find a dealer closest to you. We got Tony holding. I'll get to him just 1 second. Dad, have you seen enough? I'm assuming Milroe's gone. He's going to go pro. And I don't guess he'll come back. I saw some mock draft had him third quarterback picked. So have you seen enough of Ty Simpson to where you can say, yeah, I think we're in good hands. We can hand the reins over to Ty. Now this year they haven't really blown anybody out. So Ty's only passed the ball 25 times. He's 14 for 25 for 167 yards. When Bryce went away, you had Milroe. I think people are pretty confident about Milroe. Mac Jones went away. You had Tua, then you had Mac taking his place. Jalen, then you had Tua. You were pretty confident that backup guy was a guy that could come in, and you'd seen him play enough to where you were pretty confident those guys could come in and do the job. You got
Barry, you're going to get these comparisons at skill positions. The people, the public is down a little bit because of the way they put him in at the South Florida game. They're not sure about him. They don't know about him, but they're uncomfortable with him because they don't know enough about him. I think he's a darn good player from what I can understand talking to some of the people there. He'll have to prove himself. Naturally, they've signed the guy from SMU, and they've got other quarterbacks there.
You got Austin Mack, who they brought. You got Dylan Lonergan, and you got Keelan Russell, the kid they just signed from Texas.
I think it'll be a situation where the quarterback coaches who are much better than people think will decide 1, 2, and 3. And I'm surprised that he hasn't left thus far. I don't think anybody is knows what the quarterback situation is, and I think they're down on him a little bit because they want to compare. But now the problem you've got, Barry, is Milroe's this great. All of a sudden he has a bad game, and everybody's jumping him. And they're going, he's not as good as he was. The Milroe don't play, we're not going to win, that kind of stuff. And so it's a position where it's hard. The left tackle is not comparable. The running back's a little bit, but the quarterback's very, very comparable.
I'm just curious if you've seen enough to where you said, yeah, we can hand the ball to him and we're going to be fine.
Probably, I don't know.
I think when you knew you were going to hand the ball to Tua, I think you felt like we were going to be fine. Even when you hand it to Mac Jones, I think you're.
Well, what do you think?
I don't know. That's why.
I don't either.
That's why, of course, those guys have watched him every day in practice. So I think they kind of have to be honest with him. He ain't stayed here this long. He expects to be the starter next year for sure. Now, I don't think they're going to be able to guarantee him that. He's going to have to win the job. I don't know. Let's get to that. Tony's a pretty good football guy. Let's get to the. I don't know if this is what I'm sure it's not what he's calling about, but get to Yellowwood Hotline. Hey, Tony, how are you, sir?
Hey guys, y'all doing okay?
Yeah, Tony, you know football better than us. Are you comfortable with Mac? Have you seen enough of Mac Jones where you can say,
not Mac Jones.
Not Mac Jones. I'm sorry, not Mac Jones. Ty Simpson, to where you can say, give the
no, I'm not. Because we haven't seen enough of him with the starters, starting running back, starting offensive line, tight ends, and the whole lot. We've seen him in mop-up duty. The difference is what y'all are discussing, and I'm glad you brought this up, Barry. When you saw Tua come in the game even late, they kept you saw all the receivers he was throwing to, and even with the line blocking, guys, you saw what he could do. You saw the accurate throws, the way he got it out quickly. He knew the offense probably as well as the starter did. If not, I know some coaches that were on that staff that told me that Saban did not start the best quarterback that year, and everybody knew it. And it's okay. Jalen Hurts wasn't going to get you beat. That's the thing. He wasn't going to lose a game for you. Milroe is 100% capable of losing some games. And I don't know if Ty Simpson is any better because we haven't seen it against competition when it gets down to it.
Yeah.
They were confident enough, y'all, to put to it in the national title game in the second half because they knew he was capable of. They hadn't done that with Ty Simpson, even when, statistically speaking, Milroe struggled as bad as any quarterback has ever struggled in that uniform against Tennessee and against Oklahoma. And that's saying something. I mean, we have a long list of quarterbacks that started due to injury in the early 2000s, guys.
We have a tendency, and I think you have that tendency a lot, is to not give the opponent any credit. I think we talk about the struggle
Coach, I'm okay with giving. I will give credit to every team that has lined up. But Coach, it's hard for me to give credit to a team that doesn't have an offensive pulse and is driving the ball all over Alabama at their stadium in Oklahoma when you have everything to play for. That's hard for me to, because I know the talent level we got, and everybody says, well, the talent.
So let me you answer this for me. Was that scheme, the way they played defensively, scheme wise, or was that the effort of the Alabama team?
Effort.
Or was Oklahoma just better that day because they wanted it more?
I think it could be I think it could be a combination of all three. Yeah. Oklahoma a week off. They wanted it more. They had better effort. The effort was obviously not there. Alabama was not prepared to play, guys. That's all there is to it. You put that same Alabama team. I'm not so certain, even with 3 turnovers, that Oklahoma they might beat us. But the difference is too, we were playing Auburn at home. But you can't, or Oklahoma on the road as well. But they had a week off, and they were more prepared. They wanted it. They were more hungry than Alabama, hungrier.
Yeah, I think you bring a good point. When you're in Tennessee and you're struggling like that, and you're at Oklahoma and you're struggling like that, if you feel like this backup guy could give you a spark, then you're going to put him in. Not putting him in is a little bit alarming. I mean, you just keep thinking Milroe's going to eventually just turn it around. I think you put the guy in at least for a couple of series and see how he looks. If he looks great, you stay. If he's a little bit shaky, then you kind of got the other guy. You've settled him down a little bit. They never did that, which I don't know what that means, but it's a little bit alarming.
The coaches, guys, when I'm back there with a kid and I see his footwork and I see it's not just that, it's his body language, his mentality on things. The fact that he may not be communicating with receivers the way he should be, other players have to get the quarterback up. Those are all red flags to me. And when I see Milroe struggling the way he is, and when he's got time, he doesn't step up, and he's doing the same thing he did 3 years ago. And I know those are habits they tried to break him of. And old habits are hard to break, guys. I mean, it's just a fact. Coach Anderson, you played golf a lot. If you don't get trained how to play golf properly, it'll take you 2 years to undo the bad habits you've done.
Yeah.
And so it's the same principle. I think that Milroe, but Barry, you're right. Look, again, it's a different staff than what Saban had. I don't know if Coach DeBoer is one of those guys that'll pull the plug on a quarterback. But Saban wasn't either until he had to. And he saw what everybody else saw. This kid's struggling. We need a spark. I don't know that Simpson would have played worse than Milroe. But the staff didn't think he would play better.
I don't even remember. Who was the coordinator when we had Tua and Jalen?
That was Brian Daboll.
I think the word was he thought Tua was better. He wanted to start Tua anyway.
I did not meet him in a coaching clinic, but I met some guys that coached with him. He told them that he was fighting all year long in championship fights with one arm tied behind his back. That was a quote from him.
Yeah.
And look, guys, like I said, Jalen wasn't getting anybody beat until he did, until you get to Auburn and he's struggling. I mean, struggled against Auburn that year.
Yeah.
But you can't pull quarterbacks just because they struggle. But when you don't see an improvement over a 3-game process, and you are playing better talent, you either move up, because if you're staying the same, you're falling behind. And I don't know. I personally think, I may be with Coach Sanderson here, I'm starting to think Ty Simpson may transfer, and you're looking at the Matt kid, Lonergan, and the Keelan Russell. I actually think Keelan Russell will have a chance to start.
But how?
Yeah, I think if he was going to transfer, he'd already transferred.
Yeah, but how is Simpson going to wait this long?
Yeah,
it's finally your turn. So if you leave, who's going to guarantee you a spot if you didn't stay here when it was finally your turn? They're going to think you don't have any. I don't know. I mean,
well, if he let me ask y'all this: if he waits too long during the season, can he? Is he out of eligibility?
I
don't think you get out of eligibility anymore.
There's no eligibility.
Yeah, that's right. Guys, it's a good question. I don't know the answer because I'm not around the kid every day. I think he can move well. I think he's got good legs. He's got good feet. And I do think he processes things quicker than Milroe. But there's something.
I think sometimes that we don't appreciate, don't understand, and you should, the ups and downs of quarterback play.
Oh, I coached it for 10 years, yeah.
Yeah, well, the ups and downs for quarterback play depends on a lot of people. And the one thing that Nick Saban has always said is the quarterback's as good as the people that surround him. And there are days, there are days, you've already said you didn't think Alabama was ready to play. I'm not so sure the people around Milroe were ready to play either. I mean,
absolutely not, guys. The worst thing for a quarterback is to lose confidence. His offensive line, you get happy feet, you throw off your back foot, you don't plant your front toe right, you don't turn your hips, you're throwing straight ahead instead of with your good hip turn. He's done all of that, and I think it's because he's either A, expecting to get hit, or B, expecting to get hit right as the ball is thrown, one of the two. But if y'all watch him play, when he steps up into the pocket, when they have a horseshoe pocket, instead of dropping back and rolling right into the defensive end, when the tackles do their job and he steps up in the pocket, he delivers a beautiful ball. Guys, that pass he threw to Ron Williams against Auburn, I think that's the best pass he's thrown in his entire career at Alabama. I cannot believe that kid dropped that ball. I mean, that looked like a handoff. You can't ask for better than that. But if you watch the play, he stepped up into the pocket, drove his hips, his belly button was on target, and that's all you ask for. And if he does that, we're fine. But it's so, put it this way, for me to say that, it was rare for me to see this year. Because to me, that's the best pass he's thrown while he's been in an Alabama uniform, in my opinion.
Right now, Ty Simpson's a redshirt sophomore.
Oh, wow. So he does have eligibility, yeah.
Yeah. So he has at least 2 years. Of course, these guys never come ineligible anymore. It's like, the basketball player hurt his Achilles. Like, he's been in school 5 years, but they're acting like we can get a medical red shirt. Like, these football guys playing 8 years. Like, this whole thing, the eligibility just never runs out.
It doesn't. Is the COVID thing still going on, y'all? Are they still eligible?
I mean, how long can we use COVID?
I don't. 4 years ago.
All you do is use the NCAA to clear it.
Yeah, you said, well, once they start
exactly right.
All right, good call, Tony. Thank you.
All right, thank you, buddy.
All right, we'll get to break here. Get Jason when we get back from break. Listen, Tide 100.9. It's the home of Alabama sports.
Coming up on The Game with Ryan Fowler.
Coming up on the Friday edition of The Game, we're going to do Parlay Picks presented by Brian Harden Construction. We'll combine all the championship games. We'll take your phone calls. We'll talk to Lee Sterling. We'll talk to Brent Beard. And we're going to take your phone calls starting at 2 p.m. here on The Game on Tide 100.9, 1230 WTBC, your home of Alabama Crimson Tide Sports.
The longest running sports program in Tuscaloosa. The Game with Ryan Fowler. Weekdays from 2 to 6 p.m. on Tide 100.9 and streaming on the Tide 100.9 app.
Tide 100.9 Traffic.
Tuscaloosa traffic now from the Townsend Nissan Traffic Center. Good morning. Let's take a look at traffic. We have an accident, Highway 82 westbound near Westwood School Road. And we have a bit of a slowdown, long-term road construction, McFarland Boulevard.
The year-end clearance sale at Townsend Nissan going on now. You can save thousands. See BJ or Kylan today at Townsend Nissan, your savings place.
Road tripping, business travel, or bringing your car in for repairs. All great reasons to rent a Toyota at Tuscaloosa Toyota. You can rent the latest Toyota models for a day, a week, or a weekend. Every Toyota rental car comes with 24 hours roadside assistance.
Home for Alabama basketball.
Presented in part by BMW of Tuscaloosa and by Pearl River Resort in Choctaw, Mississippi. Tide 100.9 Tuscaloosa weather.
The weather cold and dry today. The sky sunny, the high 43. Another freeze tonight, clear with the low at 25. Tomorrow, partly to mostly sunny, the high 52. Clouds move in Sunday, a chance of rain by afternoon, the high 56. I'm James Spann on the ABC 3340 Weather Center on Tide 100.9. It's 25 degrees in Tuscaloosa.
The best station in the state, breaking down Alabama sports. Tide 100.9 and streaming on the Tide 100.9 app.
Upbeat. Yellowwood pressure treated pine from Great Southern Wood. If it doesn't have the yellow tag on it, you don't want it. 8 o'clock, we're going to have Bobby Sproul on. Baseball recruiting has changed a lot, and we're going to talk to Coach Sproul kind of about what's going on there. He's seeing it from all sides, from recruiting guys to junior college to guys coming to him from Division I to the scholarship limitations now, going from 40 to 34th rosters. We'll talk to him about that. All right, let's get to the Yellowwood hotline. What's up, Jason?
Hey, Jason. What's up, man? How are y'all?
Good, man. How are you?
Before I get to what I want to talk about, real quick, shout out to Josh Wright at TA today.
Yeah.
I hope his staff and his team does well, and he's a great representative for TA, and I wish him the best of luck today against Reeltown.
Yeah, 3 o'clock up at Protective Stadium. If you got Direct TV, it's on Channel 10. I'm not sure what channel
What
it
about
is.
YouTube? What about YouTube? Do you know?
I'm sure you could probably find it if you just pull up AHSAA state football. You probably can find it, sure.
Look, so real quick, speaking of Media Row earlier, Coach Sanderson, what would you have fed Kevin Skarbinski and Paul Feinbaum specifically?
What would I have said to him?
Yeah.
Oh,
I want to hear this.
I called Kevin, but the other guy cut my guts out about a lot of things that was incorrect. The former coach here, he brown nosed him to the point that Paul thought he liked him, but he got invited to a golf. He couldn't stand him, but he did a better job of brown nosing him than I did. I didn't do a very. I don't do a very good job brown nosing people anyway. So,
but this question here is both of y'all. I know y'all got a guest coming up, so I'll be quick. What besides listeners and callers, what drives inside the locker room? Would you both agree? Advertisement.
We don't have any.
But would you agree that's what drives radio?
Yeah, we don't have any. Barry and I don't have enough ourselves. The station is killing us by all the advertising they have and using us. I think more so than we should, but it's hard to get out and get advertised. Go ahead.
So would you agree with this? SMU losing to Clemson, which I think they will. That's a home game, in my opinion, for Clemson. I think. Okay, so let's say SMU loses. You can't tell me in the back of their minds these ABC and ESPN executives, because now I believe they own the CFP or however it works now. You don't think they're drooling over a Notre Dame and Alabama first round TV matchup?
Oh, sure.
Regardless if you live in Montana or Florida.
Yeah, there's one game on Friday night and the rest of them are on Saturday. I could see that being the game on Friday night, which will be whatever that is, the 20th, I guess. I think but I would, it probably will. They always say follow the money, but I hope you wouldn't penalize a team because you think it's a better matchup. If SMU's deserving, then I think they should get in over Alabama. People talk, well, their schedule. Well, you can only play the schedule. I mean, you can't penalize them because how bad?
Well, if Bama wins one of those three games, you're not having this discussion.
Right.
That's Bama's fault.
And Milroe in those 3 games rushed for 9 yards or less. So is there a formula there to beating Alabama? I think so. Now, it's hard to do to hold him down, but when he runs wild, they win. When you shut him down, they lose. There you go. Thank you, Jason.
Y'all have a good weekend.
Thank you, buddy.
And much more. Call the DCH Home Health Equipment Team at 205-330-3177 or learn more online at dchsystem.com.
WTBC Tuscaloosa and W265CG Tuscaloosa, a Town Square media station. Tide 100.9 and streaming on the Tide 100.9 app.
From the Fox Sports Studios in Los Angeles, here's Monsi Bolaños.
The Lions are headed to the playoffs.
There it is. Fox the hold. Kick away. It is up and it is good. These Detroit Lions. You want to talk about grit. You want to talk about determination. You want to talk about resiliency. This team is all of those things.
You heard it all on the Ticket. Lions Radio Network. They walk it off with a 35-yard field goal to beat the Packers 34-31. For the first time in franchise history, the Lions have won 11 games in a row. The Cavaliers are the first team to reach 20 wins after defeating the Nuggets 126-114, despite a triple-double from Nikola Jokic. Luka Doncic had his own triple-double as the Mavericks handed the Wizards their 16th straight loss of the season, coming out on top 137-101. In college hoops, Penn State with an 81-70 upset over number 8 Purdue. It's Penn State's first top 10 win in 5 years.
Inside the locker room with former Crimson Tide basketball coach Wimp Sanderson and his son, former SEC and ACC assistant basketball coach Barry Sanderson. It's time to take you inside the locker room on your home for Alabama sports. Tide 100.9 and streaming on the Tide 100.9 app.
Welcome back to the second hour of Inside the Locker Room. We'll get right up to the Andrew Kniffer. I'll tell you a little bit more about Andrew at the end of this segment, but Andrew Kniffer hotline. He's been at Shelton, I think, 34 years, guys. He's in the Hall of Fame. Obviously, pitched at Alabama, pitched in the major leagues with the Boston Red Sox, I think, as well as one other team there. But as a great guy, I've enjoyed getting to know him over the years, Coach Bobby Sproul. Good morning, Coach. How are you?
Hey, Bobby.
I'm hanging in there, Barry. Hey,
30,
Coach, how are
34 or 35 years? Do you know?
Yeah, I don't even keep up with, but I started in 1985. So first year of the program, I was sort of an assistant, and then the next year I took over. So, and most of the people know I don't know if you know who even started the program, but it was Jack Cubison.
Oh, really?
He had it the first year, and then he was so busy he couldn't even he couldn't put the time in. So I was just getting done playing and took over and other than that, that's a lot of people don't know that Jack started it.
No, I didn't.
And he did a great job.
Yeah, Jack's still living, and he's still living.
Yeah.
His wife, I think, passed away.
Yeah, Coach. One thing about Jack, Coach, is if you ever played basketball at lunchtime in the lower gym,
you never got.
Don't ever give the ball up.
Yeah,
You'll never get it
you
back.
better go rebound.
Hey, Bobby, he only shot when he had the ball.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
I had a couple of players who only shot when they had the ball. We're going analytical in teaching basketball and baseball and all that stuff. I want to ask you a question. I don't know if I can form the question in the correct way. When you're trying to improve your fastball, you're trying to make it faster for a rookie like me. That's the best word I can use. You use your body. You use your body in golf. When you turn your body, then you swing the club. Yeah. Is it your arm? Is it you teach the body, or is it a combination of both with the grip?
I think the body is important in it. I think that the arm going as quick as it can generates the velocity, and then like anything, Coach, it's
we've all had players like this. It's, you know, as long as that hand stays free and easy and forearm, it's going to be fine. But if those ever hands come off that and go around your throat, choke or whatever, the ball won't come out the same. And it's the same, you know, I use it like free throw shooters.
Yeah.
You know, when they're normal and free and easy, boy, everything's good. But, you know, nowadays with baseball, it's becoming sort of like every sport, you know. You go to those hitting machines, and they got these machines for 8-year-olds to see how far they hit balls in there now, you know. Instead of learning,
I
it's
grew
more.
up with Warren Spahn, so it's up to nobody knows who that was.
Yeah. Well, those were the good old days. We had our little golf tournament yesterday, and I was talking to Philip Weaver came by and said, "Hey, but he was talking about Coach Sewell, you know." And I told him when I would come back from spring training, when I wasn't playing at Alabama anymore, I'd sit up in the bleachers all day and listen to his stories about Babe Ruth. I mean, this guy actually played with Babe Ruth.
DeRocha.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Hey, so Bobby, recruiting has changed a lot. I think probably the changes to the scholarship limitations in Division I now, those rosters next year going from 40 to 34. So you're taking 6 players off every roster. I think my math's correct. That's 96 guys in the SEC that won't be on the roster. Now, the guys can get more money, but junior college baseball, man, is really, really, really good. Just talk about what you've seen with recruiting for you guys, and also how it's kind of changed with Division I as well. And then you throw in the portal and all that. It's got to be a mess, hasn't it, Coach?
Yeah. Well, the thing is that someone gets hurt in this whole ordeal, and it's sort of like when COVID came for baseball. The high school kids they didn't get the extra year like everybody else, and my God, with them paying athletes, there's guys that should have masters and into the working world still playing athletics in NCAA stuff. But the biggest change in baseball is, you know, they sometimes I think the 34 they're throwing out, I can see it coming. And that's 6 extra players are going to lose. And I don't understand sometimes what the NCAA does. And I don't know all the bylaws and rules. But, you know, it's not like you can just go find a guy in the middle of the season like in pro ball and add to the roster. And you never know when you're going to have one of these bad years that's going to get hurt. Guys are going to get hurt. You don't have anybody play. And plus, those walk-on kids, they're still hungry. They understand it. You know, they understand the game, and you know, recruiting is tough. It is in a way because of the fact that you see a kid play once or twice. Well, you show me a guy that can judge these pitchers, and on one time you go see a guy. I had a guy that I took one time. I said, this guy will never lose for us. Until he got to our place, and then maybe that one time would come up about every 5 times, you know. So the numbers they got to do something, you know, to give kids more of a chance. I mean, my gosh, they got like 4 or 5 coaches out there.
Yeah.
But hey, I'll say this about in baseball. So the ACC and the SEC to me are like the major leagues. Everybody else is like the minor league. So when the season's over, you know, you look and say, okay, let's see, we need a pitcher. Well, let's go to Texas and find somebody that's leaving in the portal, and we'll just add him. And that's where kids get messed up. You know, is that at the end of the season when teams have bad years and the portal opens up, well, you know, you may have a scholarship somewhere else. I tell kids nowadays, just because you sign with somebody in November doesn't mean you're going to show up there in April or next October. So, yeah, it's changed.
Yes, that.
How much is weightlifting involved in analyticals in pitching?
Here's the thing. I've never when I played at the end of my career with Houston, and you know, people may not remember. I'm sure you do, coaches. You know, I played with guys like Don Sutton, Nolan Ryan, and J.R. Richard, I bet you'd love to have J.R. Richard as a power forward for you. He was like that Dave Winfield guy, could do it all, 6'8".
Right.
But anyway, those guys never lifted weights. I've never been a big weight lift guy, but I'm buying into it a little bit more. I think the legs are so important. When I played, there weren't a lot of weight training, but just as I was getting out, it started coming. But now there's a lot of it. But to me, running up and down those steps at the Coliseum, I couldn't do maybe 3 or 4 when I was in shape, and my legs would start shaking.
Yeah. And that's very interesting.
Yeah, I think the legs are big there. Probably, I'm sure to generate power. That's probably where a lot of your velocity comes from, right?
Yeah, that's being able to stay on that backside is important, and being able to understand that, hey, you got to repeat it every time, and every pitcher's different. It's velocity is sort of like hitting for home runs. Everybody wants to do it, but velocity, if your fastball's not moving, it's nothing now for kids to hit 95, 97 mile an hour fastballs,
Yeah. Coach, what is your secret? Dad, he's got the secret formula, Coach Sproul does. He can be tough on those guys. He's no nonsense, but his guys love him. I hear more stories from Jack about Coach Sproul.
Yeah.
And how do you do that, Coach? When Dad and I did it, our players hated us, and your guys, you're hard on them, and they love you. How do you do that?
Look, I learned so much from your dad, and he may not realize it, but, and I probably said it before, but my God, every day, Robert Horry ought to thank him for all the rings he's got, Because I saw Robert Horry play in high school, and sometimes he wouldn't make it down to the other end of the court.
That's right.
and then when you would go to his, our offices always used to be in the Coliseum. I'd go out there and sit. Hey, there was no doubt who was in control out there. And I learned a lot from that. That when there's times when I have to get on guys and do it. But nowadays, I think sometimes we're a lot softer in what we do, and the one thing Coach taught me is, doesn't matter how good the player is. If he ever gets the upper hand on you, you're not gonna have a program for long. And I think that's the one thing Coach did so well is, when you're dealing with young kids and now you're giving them money, are you kidding me?
Yeah.
That the stuff's going to happen, but that's one thing I just learned from different people, and I still enjoy the game. I can have a good time with them and enjoy the game, but I know when when I get on them a little bit, and which I do. The next time a kid tells me and I can't be myself as a coach, or probably when I get out, but I enjoy it, and I just tell them, look, when I get on you guys, I don't go home and sleep about it. Now it's over with. It's up to you to fix it,
Yeah.
But I enjoy the hell out of it.
Barry brought up a good point. If we'd had a transfer portal when I was coaching, I wouldn't have had anybody in a week. It'd all been gone. So
yeah, no, Coach. Everything college athletics is going on now is against what everybody used to teach when we were younger. Hey, you go win a job. Nobody guarantees you a job when you go to play baseball or football or basketball in Alabama. You go and if the other guy's better, you just keep working harder until you beat him out. Now, my God, I saw in the paper the other day, there's 2 guys playing football in Alabama that played a lot this year. They're in the portal now. I don't know what's going on.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's tough too. These guys have a bad year. They've signed a certain class, and to make all these numbers work. Now maybe it'll change a little bit with them being able to give full 34 scholarships if they choose. I don't know that anybody's going to go to that number, but that I had a bad year. I got some young guys coming in, or I got a guy I'm not sure about. So let's just go get somebody else and let this guy go at the last second. That's tough on these kids.
Yeah, no, it's and I don't know whether Title IX still's a big deal in numbers, but to me, if a coach wants to have 10 extra players, let him have it. That's fine. I mean that's. And if a coach doesn't like the numbers, well, it's not like, you probably couldn't do it now in this day and age, but because of the money people are paying out. But my God, let them pick the team they want. Give these kids a chance. To keep, so it's a tough go for high school and junior college guys, and some of these mid majors were paying the price too.
Yeah. Lastly, Coach, I know you guys just got through with the fall season. You kind of maybe shut it down a little bit now. Just kind of talk about your process and what you guys will do to get ready for when the season really starts here in February.
Right now we really basically ended our fall about towards the last week of October, even though we went a couple more weeks. And what we do then, we really start getting ready a little bit more in the fact that we don't take batting practice and we don't field ground balls. All we do are little things that are going to win games in this. We bunt, we hit runners, get runners over, really work on stealing bases and that. And so we did that for about 3 weeks or 2.5 weeks. And now we're into conditioning and weightlifting and getting ready to send them home for the break. And then it all hits so once. It comes so quick, and you just hope that they stay in some sort of shape and have fun over the holidays, but don't do anything crazy like I did one year when I went home for Thanksgiving. I played in the old Turkey Bowl at my high school field. It was a tackle game, and we probably weren't on the field, but everybody jumped. And I broke my wrist.
Oh,
my left wrist.
Yeah, but you ought to have been fine.
Yeah. So I missed a lot of the season, first part of the season, my sophomore year, and you just tell them, hey, be careful when you do stuff like that,
But before you leave, when you get up to AAA baseball, that's what I used to say. It may not even be AAA anymore, or just get into. I have always been interested to know they're good. And I know they're good pitching coaches that far up, and there's some bad. There's some that are lazy.
Yeah,
I think when you're a pitching coach or a hitting coach, you can be very proactive with them and make them somewhat better and show them. But you get up there, if you get to the wrong organization, and they're a little bit lazy, they got the name pitching coach, but they don't really do anything. Am I right there?
You're probably right. I think a lot of young kids that play baseball think I'm going to get in pro baseball and they're going to teach me how to do it, and I'm going to be this and that. It's not like that, It's not like a hitting coach is going to. I asked Jake, our assistant. I don't understand why hitting coaches have got to stand behind the cage every day in April and tell kids what they're doing right or wrong. And pro ball, I think a lot of times in pro ball, they want to see you fail in baseball to see how you're going to react. Are you going to be able to fix it or aren't you? But the coaching isn't what a lot of people think at that level.
Yeah.
Well, Coach,
when I played, I didn't even have a pitching coach in the minor and with our team, in the 70s. Of course, now that was when I played in Bristol, Connecticut before ESPN. So that tells you how long ago that was.
Oh, all my kids have kept up with you and watched it all these years.
Yeah. I know Jack's just now getting healthy, but you have my permission, Coach. If he ever, I'm not one of those parents. If you need to slap him upside his head, then you just slap him right upside his head and say,
"Look, you did a great job. You guys did a great job with him. What a great young man." And I'm going to tell you this: you deal with him a lot now, Barry, but kids can't talk anymore. A guy like Jack's got it made down the road. I mean, he can do what he wants because he can carry a conversation on with people. A lot of these kids can't talk anymore. You get on the phone and say, "Hey, how you doing?" And you're not sure anybody's on the other end of the line. And the answers are yes and no. But Jack's a great guy, and I wish that I tell people this. Hey. All the things I used to do when I was young, wrong, and that, there's one thing that I'll never forget. Like, I don't know how many times I had to run and this and that, but the one time I did know a coach got that paddle out, told me to bend over and grab my ankles, I've never forgotten that, buddy. I'll never forget that. And, but yeah, he's a great young man, I'm happy to have him in our program.
Well, thank you.
You need to get your dad to come sit in my dugout one day.
Hey, he coached a freshman team at Alabama.
Back-to-back
no hitters in the same day.
Wow.
Same day.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Coach, you can come sit in the dugout anytime.
Okay, I'll do that.
I think you got some guys around there. You got some guys around there that are living and dying by his blue plate special. They've been dying.
Oh
this year,
yeah. Hey.
Bobby.
Oh God. My assistant Jake kids Jack all the time about the blue plate special. Hey, I said, man, he's won 4 or 5 in a row.
Yeah.
You know, everybody has a bad run every now and then.
I did have a bad run there, yeah.
Yeah, so.
But no, I mean, there's guys, we have fun at practice and that, but yeah. Jake, the first thing Jake will say, what happened to the blue plate special?
Hey, well, Jack called me one time. I told him Tennessee. He said it's something about somebody's birthday, and then I said, and Dad actually hit that one. I said, well, did he? He didn't bet that one, so I don't know. I don't know what happened.
It's one of those like I'll be sitting there on a Wednesday and I'll throw something out. Like the one day I threw something out was when Ole Miss killed Georgia. And somebody else, I said, Ole Miss is going to win that game. And there was another one that nobody else saw. You know, they like the other side. But I said that's how you guys that ever want to get into gambling. I didn't even think about the game. I just threw it out to you. So that ought to tell you something. You know, you just get hot. You get lucky. You know.
Yeah. No doubt. Well, Coach, appreciate it.
Hey,
look forward
to
seeing you throughout the season. I can't wait to watch you guys play. It's going to be fun. So can't wait to do it.
Great. Hey, Coach, come out sometime, really, when you're in town.
Okay.
Just come to a practice or do a game. You can sit in the dugout with us. And
all right.
I'd love for you to talk to my team.
Okay, I'll do that.
All right. Thank you, Coach.
Thanks, guys.
All right,
have a good holiday.
Coach Bobby Sproul. Allstate Insurance Agent Andrew Kniffer, 4705 McFarland Boulevard, Suite 3 over in Northport. Looking for Home Life Auto. This is your guy. Give them a call today, 205-722-9201. All right, we got to get to Coach Sonny Smith. We're a little bit late on Coach. You listen to Tide 100.9 SC Home of Alabama Sports.
Tide 100.9 traffic.
Tuscaloosa traffic now from the Townsend Nissan Traffic Center. Well, we have an accident at Highway 82 westbound near Westwood School Road. Also, we do have some long-term road construction that could slow you down.
RexMD.com with generics, if appropriate. Visit TryRexMD.com right now to get your sample pack. That's TryRexMD.com.
Tide 100.9 Tuscaloosa weather.
The weather cold and dry today. The sky sunny, the high 43. Another freeze tonight, clear with the low at 25. Tomorrow, partly to mostly sunny, the high 52. Clouds move in Sunday, a chance of rain by afternoon, the high 56. I'm James Spann on the ABC 3340 Weather Center on Tide 100.9. It's 26 degrees in Tuscaloosa.
Inside the Locker Room with Wimp and Barry on your home for Alabama sports. Tide 100.9 and streaming on the Tide 100.9 app.
You ran crying to the bedroom. I ran off to the bar. Another piece of heaven gone to hell. The words we spoke in anger just tore my world.
Welcome back to Inside the Locker Room. All right, get right to the Yellowwood Hotline. I won't read all his credentials today since we're a little bit behind, but you know he is the best, and he will be honored this Sunday at the game down in Auburn. Coach Sonny Smith. Good morning, Coach. How are you?
I'm great. Hope you guys are.
I'm glad you didn't read off all them cotton-picking credentials.
Yeah, well, I mean, it is what it is.
He every time he's having him on, you spend half the time talking about how
The
great
guy's
he
done
is.
a lot. I just want to make sure Chase understood what he just talked to.
He's in rare form today.
He's cracked a few jokes in his life. That's about it.
He's royalty.
Thanks for that great introduction. I'm glad to be on this show.
All right, Coach.
Even though it's the last time, it's a good time, huh?
I want you to answer me this. This is a serious question.
Oh, corn.
No, I'm serious. How do you, as a coach, how do you handle a guy like Chad Baker Mazzara? Like, you want his passion and all the things he brings. He can score, he can defend, he's very confident. But then he just kind of gets on the edge with some stuff there. And you don't want to take away all those things that he does, but you also don't want him getting flagrant fouls, technicals. He's going to cost you at a really bad time. I'm afraid last year he got kicked out in the NCAA tournament game. What is the balance, and how do you handle a guy like that?
Well, I didn't back in the day. I was be kind of tough on guys like that. And if I had to do all over, I'm not so sure I would.
Yeah.
I think the guys with a little bit of an edge play better for you. And but I didn't think so. I thought the conduct was a big deal back then, and doing the right thing was a big deal. But I'm not so sure that. I think production and what makes them play better might be the better way to handle. Like Charles Barkley, for instance, needed to be probably handled a little different than I did him back in the day. Not so much, not a lot, but a little bit different in some ways. I discussed that with his pro coaches. They pretty much had the same idea. I think some guys with a little bit of emotions sometimes play a little bit better if you leave them alone. I'm not sure that's true, but it might have been better in his case than other people's cases.
Yeah,
I think mine, Barry, was the same way. I think I don't think I should have backed off on Robert Horry, because you had to mash him in the head to get him to do what you wanted to.
Yeah.
The rest of
you think you did it right, and then you don't know.
Yeah.
You look at the way people handle them today as opposed to the way we did back then. I think it's a little bit different. I don't think they jump in their messes a little bit as much as they used to.
Yeah, it doesn't seem to bother Bruce, but because you don't want the kid to lose his passion, but you also, there's a time and place, and you also don't want him to cost your team. And times he cost his team as well. Trying to figure out how to handle that and what to take away, but not lose the great things that he's given you. There's a tough balance there, I think. And that's what makes.
Well, I think I handled it wrong. I jumped right all over him real quick, and I think sometimes I might have been better off to let him get carried away.
Nothing's ever said about the fighting on the road on the plane anymore. That was, taking that plane back, they go in there to, that's a thing that could tear your team up, and Bruce handled it well. He didn't
comment about it. He didn't talk about it, and never came up again. He must have handled it properly.
I think he did.
I don't know what I would have done in the same situation.
Yeah, they played. They shot the basketball and played really well defensively against Duke at Duke. Duke's hard to beat there because of the home court. They'll get advantage. And Auburn stayed in that game. Of course, lost by a few points, but Auburn's got a good defensive team and a little bit better offensively than I thought they would be.
I think one of Bruce's positive things that you said, he gets his kids to play hard.
Yeah.
It's not one of those things where he drives them. I don't think he gets all over them. I never see that in the practices that I go to. But for some reason, they play extremely hard for him, and I think that's because of preparation from a standpoint of having them ready for every situation that they're playing. They do a good job of getting their teams ready from the standpoint of scouting.
This kid they got, Pettiford, I think I'm saying that right. He's from New Jersey. Wow. He's a confident kid. Wow, what a great freshman. What was the connection there to New Jersey? Go up there and pull a guard like that down to Auburn. This kid's some player.
Well, Bruce from around that area, somewhere up there, and probably has a lot of connections up there, and actually coached in Boston somewhere near Boston years ago, I think, and he probably has good connections. I don't know that, but and hadn't had any thoughts about him coming down here from up there. But he's really a good player. He really is.
I know you. I'll always kid you about the radio stuff. You do a good job. I tell everybody you do opposite. I tell everybody you're terrible. Nice. That's what I'm supposed to do. What are you gonna miss that? You got so much sickness and all. Are you satisfied to be out of it?
I don't think I'm going to miss it. I think when you need something when and it goes away, you're going to miss it.
I need to.
I think I don't have any feeling about quitting it. It seems like my time's up, so it's time to get out. That's kind of the way I feel.
Talk a little bit more about the team. Janiah Broome, a lot of people are saying if he chose right now, he'd be player of the year in the country, not just the SEC. This kid's really added to his game. Started at Moorhead, I guess. There he's added the 3 ball. He's made 9 threes this year. He's 9 for 29, but he's good around the basket with that left hand. He's a good passer as well. Just what have you seen with his improvement from one year to the next?
What I've seen of him is that he plays better than it looks like he's playing. His production is better than the things that you see. You don't see spectacular stuff. You don't see go up over people and great height on tip ends and things like that. He's just a get it done type player, and he plays within himself all the time. And I think one thing people don't recognize about him, he's not a selfish player.
Yeah.
If the ball comes into him and somebody else has got a better shot, he will move the ball. I think he's a team player as much as he is a guy that should be the star on the team.
Yeah.
People don't agree because they're too young. When we had a 10-team league and we played everybody twice, and
yes,
nobody was cheating particularly a little bit, but boy, did they have good teams. Were they hard to beat? And when you back even before you came into the league, we played Saturday, Monday, sometimes, which was different. And so the league is good again, no doubt about it. No use comparing them, but it's a really, really good league, isn't it?
Without a doubt, everybody over the years have been forced into improving their program. You say, well, we got the football programs okay. Didn't care about what else went around in some situations. But I think everybody's worked hard to improve her program, made the league one of the best in the country.
Yeah, you look at this ACC SEC shootout, 14-2. We talked to the associate commissioner over basketball yesterday. Normally, the SEC loses a lot of these non-conference games. They don't win. And then when you get to the league, it's hard to get quality wins. Well, that's the exact opposite this year. Auburn winning in Maui. Oklahoma goes to Atlantis and wins. Alabama's got really big wins. Tennessee is playing really well. Mississippi State, they absolutely destroyed Pittsburgh. So these guys all have good records. So when they get into the league, you'll be able to pick up some quality wins there. It's going to be a dogfight in this league night in and night out, isn't it, Coach?
I think more so than usual.
Yeah.
I think it's a little bit deeper. The league appears to me to be deeper this year. It could have something to do with scheduling. I don't know that. But they appear to be doing extremely well out of league and all together. I haven't looked up the exact records, but I haven't seen any damaging losses to SEC schools. Have you seen any of those?
Maybe the very first weekend, I think North Florida may have beat South Carolina, but nothing really out of line, to be quite honest with you.
No, I don't think so either. It's a strong league. Kids want to play in this league now. It's not you don't hear that. It's a football league type. You don't hear that talk anymore. You used to hear it somewhat, but you don't hear it at all anymore.
Yeah.
It's a very balanced league, good league.
Yep.
Sonny, a writer called me yesterday who's writing about you on for your deal on Sunday, and I tried to think of everything I could think of, and told it kind of wrong. Told him you to correct it about you singing at the Grand Ole Opry with you. You didn't sing, and I did the whatever. I tried to criticize. I did.
You did the laughing at me is what you did. You laughed.
And about the bootlegging and the whiskey and the mama's bed and Rome Mountain and all that kind of stuff. That stuff I tell that Barry says I tell it over and over. I did the best I could with him to tell him everything. But the problem you have when you do something like that on the telephone, you forget. Oh, why didn't I tell him this? Why didn't I tell him that? So when he calls you, you correct it. And because I know I'm doing everything I can to get there Sunday. I'm working now on trying to get somebody here to stay with Annette because I had to leave at 7:30 to get there. But I'm trying hard to get there. If I
I know you will. Don't think of it. Do what you got to do.
I'll do everything I can to get there. So congratulations on having the day for you. That you deserve it. Barry.
Thank you very much.
Are they going to have your name swinging in the rafters, Coach? Or is it already swinging in the rafters?
I think it's off. I think it's already up there.
You can't put it up there twice.
It's in the far corner over there with Joe Champy.
All right. Well, I'll tell you what. When Alabama comes down there and plays on that Saturday, Dad and I need about 6 tickets. So see if you can get us some. That won't be a very tough ticket when Alabama and Auburn play this year.
I'll be standing outside waiting on you. I'll be there with the tickets. I always take care of you. You know that.
That's right. Coach, we appreciate you as always, and have a great weekend. Should be a fun basketball season.
Thank you very much. I appreciate you guys. Thanks very much.
Thank you. There's Coach Sonny Mills. Turn it up, Chase. All right, Dad, while he's playing that, turn it down just a tear, and you tell him about Bryant Bank.
Bryant Bank, locations throughout the city of Tuscaloosa and Birmingham, throughout Columbiana and the state of Alabama. And I think it'd be the kind of bank that you'll be interested in visiting with the banker and with the people that surround him. And when you put in your hard-earned cash money to do whatever you need to do with it, it's going to be safe. That's the key word here. They're going to take darn good care of it, whether it be a personal or business account, and they will do everything they can to make you satisfied with them. I've had a lot of people talk to me about Bryant Bank, and everybody says the same thing that I do. If you go there, they're going to do everything they can to make you satisfied. So go by Bryant Bank and tell them you heard on Inside the Locker Room. Tell them you heard Barry and I talk about it, and I think it'll be a very, very successful venture for you.
All right, turn it up, Chase, and take us on out to break.
Till you've lived through the story. That old man just told me, and you don't know about sadness.
Tide 100.9 traffic.
Tuscaloosa traffic now from the Townsend Nissan Traffic Center. We do have an accident at West Hill Road in Coker. This is Highway 82 westbound near Westwood School Road. Also, we do have a slowdown because of construction. McFarland Boulevard, both eastbound and westbound between Jack Warner Parkway.
Take care of any problems you got with a damp crawl space or a crack in your foundation. They even do pest control and lawn care. Full service Alabama Professional Services at alabamaprofessional.com.
Crimson Tide Today is presented on Tide 100.9, WTBC 1230 by BMW of Tuscaloosa. Online at bmwoftuscaloosa.com.
From the University of Alabama, this is Crimson Tide Today. Its daily update on Bama sports, and it's brought to you by Guthrie's. America's original chicken finger restaurant is now an official partner of the Alabama Crimson Tide. For franchise information, visit Guthrie'sChicken.com. Hello again, everybody. I'm Roger Hoover. On Wednesday night, Alabama men's basketball picked up a 94-79 win at North Carolina. Here's head coach Nate Oates following the victory.
I thought our guys showed a lot of toughness, resilience. We came off a tough loss against Oregon and easily could have let that loss turn into 2. But thought they got their minds right, ready to play. I thought they executed the defensive game plan outside of transition buckets, which that's what they do best. And we didn't do a great job, particularly in the first half with it. Outside of that, in the half court, they struggled. And I thought our guys did a really good job executing the game plan. I was super happy for these two guys. Houston, unselfish enough to come off as a red shirt and come in. We were plus 12 in his 9 minutes, hit 2 threes, made some huge defensive plays, some rebounds.
I'll have more in a moment.
Guthrie's Golden Fried Chicken Fingers, an Alabama tailgate tradition. Founded in Haleyville, Alabama in 1965, Guthrie's has been a Bama fan favorite for years. From your hometown to college towns all around, Guthrie's is still serving the family's original Southern fried chicken recipe just like always, fresh, hot, and fast. Make Guthrie's Golden Fried Chicken Fingers the MVP of your next tailgate. Guthrie's, America's original chicken finger restaurant and now an official partner of the Alabama Crimson Tide. For franchise information, visit Guthrie'sChicken.com.
If you missed yesterday's edition of Crimson Drive driven by NASCAR, catch it on demand on the CTSN YouTube page. Crimson Tide Today is brought to you by Guthrie's. Crimson Tide Today is a production of the Crimson Tide Sports Network from Learfield.
Follow the Crimson Tide on their journey to another national championship. Touchdown, Alabama! On your home for Alabama sports, Tide 100.9 and streaming on the Tide 100.9 app.
Oh yeah, candles burning low, lots of mistletoe, lots of snow and ice.
Welcome back to Inside the Locker. I'll get right up to the Yellowwood Hotline. We'll bring Cowboy into the show. Good morning, Cowboy.
How you doing, Barry and Coach?
We're good, buddy.
Hey, I was wondering, you can kind of see some of the falls of way things were, say, 12 years ago, Alabama football, and the way they are this year. I came up on a social media site, Facebook, yesterday. The 2012 LSU game, Vern Lundquist and Gary Danielson, man, they were good. People used to get after them, but they were good. And LSU missed a field goal to late in the game with about 1:40 left or whatever. And Alabama got the ball down 3, and Vern Lundquist said, well, Alabama hadn't done anything in the second half tonight. We'll see what happens now, but it doesn't look good. Then we, drive down there and score, and then we stop them. But just the disciplined look of the sideline, the disciplined look of the field, the team on the field, uniforms tucked in, and just the oneness look of the team back then, and then you compare it to now and the way everything looks, individualism, social media branding, just all this stuff. We've gotten away, Coach, don't you think, from the team concept, the oneness of the team. And we what have they done to college athletics?
Well, when you pay athletes, you've changed. What year were you talking about?
2012.
Yeah.
You could probably go back to the 2016 team, 2018. Just the discipline and the organization Coach Saban had on the sideline, in those years. But they wanted football not to have a power like Alabama was in those days, I guess, paying athletes. I guess you can't control them, but the NFL used to be more disciplined about uniform, and then now they can wear different color cleats and everything. I don't know, maybe I just need to go away, but I just like everybody.
Things completely changed the way you play. Basketball 3-point shot came in. It wasn't even the 3-point shot when I first started coaching. Everything's just changed. It's the way it goes.
Yeah, but I think you can still have a disciplined organization even with the way things are now. There's a player that played at Alabama and graduated, I think, 2017 team, Levi Wallace.
Yeah.
He walked on the team, Barry, and developed and didn't start to his senior year. And now that kid, grown man, is now in the NFL, and he has made a lot of money. He was with Buffalo, Pittsburgh, now he's with Denver. But that guy is an example of the process, development of a player. If he'd have been playing in today's NIL, well, he might have left Alabama to go get $100,000 to play for, say, Slippery Rock State or whatever. But he made himself more money by staying at Alabama and developing through the Coach Saban's process.
Yeah, there's going to be 12 teams in this playoff Sunday, and there's going to be kids going down to compliance on Sunday on these 12 teams getting in the portal because they got to figure out where they're going. I'll be interested to see how these coaches handle this, Cowboy. It's not a great situation. Maybe they'll wait, but, I mean, the first round's not till, the 20th and 21st. And if you win that, then you play the next week. Those teams that get buys, they're not going to play till right before New Year's. And school starts like the next week at a lot of these places. I don't know how they handle all this with guys that are going to leave, but they're still playing. Just so many distractions now that you used to not have to deal with that would help your development that you're talking about. You weren't worried about all those things. It was when's the next practice and I'm going to develop. Now it's trying to decide whether you're going to stay or go.
Right. But then listen to your Bobby Sproul. Your son probably did the right thing for his baseball career going to play for him because he's going to help him develop these 2 years, and then he can go and flourish somewhere. You know?
Yeah, no doubt.
Everything's not instant success because us people that aren't athletes out here in this jungle of a world, we have a lot of struggles every day to try to be successful.
No doubt.
It's not given to you.
No doubt. Great call.
College athletics.
Yeah, it's tough. It's different. It's older guys don't like it. They like the process and sticking it out. But it's a new world, so we just got to kind of look at it and shake our head. But we're still going to watch it, more than likely.
Yeah.
So, anyway,
boy, I wish Shelton could win him a championship. Boy, he deserves one.
Yeah.
They've been knocking at the door.
He does. So maybe this will be the year. Maybe this will be the year. Thank you, Cowboy.
Well, all right. I like Georgia tomorrow. How about you guys?
I don't know.
I don't either.
Yeah, it's gonna be a good one.
Hey, Bevo can't be there. The stadium's too cold.
Yeah, I've already said that.
Yeah, Bevo. Yeah. All right.
Yeah, tell Digger to put him at his house.
Thank you, Cowboy. All right, we listen to Tide 100.9. It's the home of Alabama sports.
Coming up on The Game with Ryan Fowler.
Coming up on the Friday edition of The Game, we're going to do Parlay Picks presented by Brian Harden Construction. We'll combine all the championship games. We'll take your phone calls. We'll talk to Lee Sterling. We'll talk to Brent Beard. And we're going to take your phone calls starting at 2 p.m. here on The Game on Tide 100.9, 1230 WTBC, your home of Alabama Crimson Tide Sports.
The longest running sports program in Tuscaloosa. The Game with Ryan Fowler. Weekdays from 2 to 6 p.m. on Tide 100.9 and streaming on the Tide 100.9 app.
Tide 100.9 traffic.
Tuscaloosa traffic now from the Townsend Nissan Traffic Center. We do have an accident at West Hill Road in Coker. This is Highway 82 westbound near Westwood School Road. Also, we do have a slowdown because of construction. McFarland Boulevard, both eastbound and westbound between Jack Warner Parkway and
0958.
Fair pricing is what we do. Taylor Electric, we are here for you.
Tide 100.9 Tuscaloosa weather.
The weather cold and dry today. The sky sunny, the high 43. Another freeze tonight, clear with the low at 25. Tomorrow, partly to mostly sunny, the high 52. Clouds move in Sunday, a chance of rain by afternoon, the high 56. I'm James Spann on the ABC 3340 Weather Center on Tide 100.9. It's 26 degrees in Tuscaloosa.
You're listening to Inside the Locker Room with Wimp and Barry, only on Tide 100.9 and streaming on the Tide 100.9 app.
Welcome back to Inside Locker. I'll get right to the Yellowwood Hotline, getting Digger in. Good morning, Digger.
You called it.
Hey, Digger.
Winner of the SEC championship, you get 24, 25 days off, and the portal opens and closes during that time. What do you think Brandon Harris and portal posse is going to be doing during that time?
I don't know what you do with it, though. I mean, some guys may want to get in the portal because the guy ahead of them is a younger kid or something, but you also want to be there for your team, and you don't want – what do you do, Digger?
Get busy.
What does that mean?
If you got time off, get busy and look in that portal. I'm talking about as far as the players are concerned. You make the decision whether you want to stay or go. Okay, no
But you don't
longer are
wanna
the
walk
days
out on
to
your
where you can
team,
be
though.
locked in a program.
But you don't want to walk out on your team. You want to be there for your guys, but you also got to do what's best for you. I don't know. It puts the kids in a tough spot.
You honestly think they even care? There's no loyalty in this anymore. Come on.
Yeah, there
They
is
want it
some.
for the money.
There's for some. Well,
You
the
know,
guy
I
that's-
mean-
the guy that's leaving now probably ain't getting money. He's probably playing for Texas, and they're taking care of him. But it's that second and third team guy that wanting to transfer. If they win, it's going to be the problem. We got to get out, Digger. Thank you.
Later.
All right, Tuscaloosa Toyota. Go to TuscaloosaToyota.com, and the website is absolutely outstanding. Look at the new inventory, the pre-owned inventory. You can schedule a service right there. You want to rent a Toyota, you can do it right there at the website. Swing by Skyline Boulevard. Justin will be there. He'll take absolutely great care of you. And tell him that Wimp and Barry sent you. The Gary Harris Show is next. You listen to Tide 100.9. It's the home of Alabama sports. Have a great weekend, everybody.